Welcome to Your Healthy Kitchen from YRMC.
Welcome to Your Healthy Kitchen. I'm your host, Rita Carey Rubin, and I'm pleased to welcome some very special guests today from Coyote Springs Elementary School in Prescott Valley, Arizona. And they're going to share their favorite recipe for pesto pizza with a crispy cauliflower crust and tell us about their fabulous school garden. So welcome, Brittany Kaminska, or Miss K, as your students call you. And you brought some students with you.
I sure did.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Jasmine.
I'm Kaden.
And I'm Sydney.
Wonderful. Welcome, you guys. We're so excited to have you in our kitchen today. And you have an amazing school garden. It's filled with fruit trees and raised beds, and you even have an indoor hydroponics program. And there's so much to talk about, but give us a bird's eye view of that fantastic gardening project at Coyote Springs.
Yeah, so back in 2008, we started our Habitat program at the school when we were thinking about a signature program to make us a magnet school to attract families in our community. And we started the actual garden in 2014, so a few years ago. And we wanted to answer an essential question of how do you prevent disease and illness while also promoting wellness through gardening and through produce. So we're just working on that, and the school garden has been very, very successful.
Yeah, and that's the essential base of wellness is the food that we eat, and growing your own that's just the healthiest way to get those foods into your diet. Yep. And your garden just recently was certified by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Yes.
As a school garden. Well, tell us a little bit about that certification and what it allows you to do with your produce.
Yeah, so we kind of the vision when we started this signature program was to get a certification, but we were hoping maybe by 2020 we'd get it because it takes a while. And our Habitat teacher, Mr. Welsh, applied for it this August of this school year, and we ended up getting certified just in the last couple months. And so now we're able to eat our food, sell our food, share our food. So we have a lot of big plans in store for our garden. And it's kind of cool because we're one of 27 certified school gardens and the only one in Yavapai County.
Wow, that is really exciting, and the process really went very quickly for you.
It did, a lot faster than we thought. We thought by 2020 we'd have it, and here we are.
Here you are. That's fantastic. Well, tell me, what are you guys growing in your garden? Jordan, what do you have growing now?
We're growing strawberries, chives, apple trees, cherry trees, mint, and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I think I saw some. What else was growing there? I thought I saw some lettuce and some cabbage. Yeah. So, so sharing food is part of what your project is about. So with this certification, you can share your produce with others. And how do you plan to share food with people inside and outside of the school? Jasmine, what do you plan to do with that produce?
Well, we're trying to work with Meals on Wheels, and then we're going to build a cart to carry our produce to farmers markets, and we're also going to try to sell it in the parent pickup line.
Wow.
And then we're also sharing it with our cafeteria.
Wow. So they'll make it part of your school lunch and all that. That's fantastic. And the certification allows you to do that.
Yes.
It certifies that it's handled correctly and all that. That is great. We have so much more to talk about, but let's start some cooking. So you guys brought a favorite recipe with you today, and why don't you tell us about it? I hear you're all experts at making this recipe. So Cadence, why don't you tell us about this recipe?
So we're making the pesto over here, and they're making the cauliflower crust. And what we did with pesto is we have sunflower seeds, and we have cheese, lemons, and then we mash some sunflower seeds up, basil, and some olive oil.
Wonderful. So you're going to make some pesto, and it's going on a cauliflower crust for, what are we making all together?
Pesto pizza.
Pesto pizza, yeah, with a cauliflower crust. So fantastic. So we've got our pesto pounders over here and our crispy crust creators. So let's start with the crust. But while we get the crust going, why don't you guys start getting your ingredients ready for the pesto. We'll come right over to you in a minute. So with the recipe for your crust, I started it this morning. And it says to take the cauliflower and chop it into very small pieces. And which I used a food processor, but when you make it at school, you don't. Well, how do you chop up that cauliflower?
We cut it with knives.
Knives, that's a lot of work. But I did it the easy way. and then you take that cauliflower and you put it in boiling water. And then what do you do, Miss Kay?
Yeah, you put it in there for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to, what I did at home at least, was put a dish towel in a strainer, and then you dump everything from the cauliflower boiling into your dish towel. And the point is to try and get as much moisture out of the cauliflower as possible. So we're gonna just put it into the dish towel and squeeze as much of that moisture out as we can.
Well, show us how it's done. So that's the cooked cauliflower, and it's still a little crispy. Is that right?
It is, yeah, just a little bit, because you want to be able to mold it.
Okay.
So you guys can start to squeeze there.
How many?
So I've heard it takes a little bit of time to get all that water out.
It does.
Yeah.
There's a lot more moisture than you think in there.
Yeah, right. So between soaking it in water and then the water that's in the cauliflower. Right.
You got to get as much out as possible.
Wow, that's going to take some work. All right, well, you guys are squeezing, and I'm going to go talk to the pesto guys over here.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing with this. This is called a what?
A pesto, and we have sunflower seeds in it.
Okay, and you're using the mortar and pestle.
Yes.
Right, so that's another thing at school. You don't use the food processor to make pesto. See, I take the easy way out. That's what I do. So, but this is fantastic. So this is the traditional way of making pesto, right? And so you took those. You could use sunflower seeds. We've got some. Those are some toasted pumpkin seeds.
Yes.
You could use any kind of seed or nut.
Yes. It was supposed to be the pine nut, but since I'm allergic to it, and another girl, we had to figure out a substitute for the pine nut.
That's great. Yeah, so you could use anything. So you pounded those pumpkin seeds pretty well. Now what do?
We put some basil in it. We don't want to put them all at once because then it gets overfilled.
Okay.
So we put a little at a time.
You just put a little at a time. And then you just pound it to grind those guys up. All right. Great. Well, I'll let you work on that. I'm going to check out the crust guys over here.
Mash it up and then.
Okay, so what does that look like? Let's maybe turn it with this, see how dry. Okay, so you got that pretty dry.
And it's impossible to get all the moisture out, but you want to try and get as much out as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what do? Jasmine, what's next?
Well, we have to add all our ingredients in. And then we're going to start mixing it up
Okay.
to make our crust.
So what's your first ingredient? Is that the egg?
Yes.
All right. So you have to beat that guy up first, right?
Yeah.
All right. And what's the herb we have here?
That is
The crust?
oregano.
Oregano.
Yeah.
Smells
It's
great.
delicious.
Doesn't that smell great?
And you want to use about a tablespoon of it.
About a tablespoon, okay.
And we don't measure too much at Coyote Springs. We use our hands. We have some really experienced cooks in our kitchen, so they don't need measuring cups or spoons or anything.
You just eyeball it and taste it. And I was out at your garden this week and I tasted some of the oregano you grow. It is the most delicious oregano I've ever tasted. It had a powerful punch.
When we have mint that grows really wild, the kids are chewing on it all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever they go out to the garden, they pick a few leaves and they put it in their mouth and they walk around.
That's fun.
Teachers don't complain too much about that.
No, gives you all good breath.
Yes.
So go ahead and add your egg and then tell me what else you're going to add next. So we've got some, what's that?
Well, now we're going to add our cheese.
Some mozzarella cheese.
Yes.
Okay. And some of that lovely oregano. Great. And we have some salt. Now I know you guys are really focusing on wellness and health. Do you use any salt in your recipe?
We're going to use a tiny bit.
Tiny bit? Okay. So just a little pinch. Right? Wonderful. So why don't you guys start mixing that? I'm going to see how our pesto's going over here. So how's it going, you guys? So you're working on that basil. Now what else do you add into that pesto?
So we add
Got your basil.
Our lemon juice.
11,
Okay.
and then we put some cheese in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we put some olive oil in it.
All right. And some garlic too, I see.
Yes, we put our garlic in
Now
there.
how much garlic do you usually add?
We put half a clove in there.
Yeah, right. Could you put more if you wanted it?
If you like the more
You
garlic.
know, it gets real garlicky, doesn't it?
Yes.
And how do you add that garlic? Do you just put it in the mortar and pestle?
Yes, we just put it in the mortar and pestle, and we
right.
just squish it up.
Squish it up. Okay. Wonderful. Well, tell me more. So you guys, you've made this pesto pizza, and I know you've made other things from the garden at the school. Jasmine, what's one of your favorite recipes?
Well, we made mesquite brownies, and we milled our flour, and mesquite is local, the flour is. And so we milled our flour, and then we made our brownies.
Wow. So mesquite, you're right, that's a local food. Yeah, and I think you've played with like some different sweeteners too, right? Mm-hmm. What did you use in your brownies?
We used coconut flour,
Coconut sugar.
or sugar,
Yeah.
and to make it sweeter, instead of using plain sugar.
Right. Yeah, and the coconut sugar is a little less sweet than regular sugar, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll bet they were delicious.
they were.
Yeah. Did they taste a little different from regular brownies?
They did.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. And let me check these guys. That looks great. So
It does look good.
when it's all mixed, what do you do next?
We're gonna knead it together, and then we're gonna shape it into the shape we want on our pan.
Okay. So you're going to get right in there with your hands?
Yep.
All right. Go for it. Sounds good.
We don't need this anymore.
Okay. So you guys are doing really well here. That looks great. Wonderful. So what else have you guys learned about gardening? So you've been in your garden for a few years now.
We've learned
What have you learned?
So our third grade, when I was in third grade, we did hydroponics, which is, we did it because we were trying to grow food in the winter, but we couldn't do that since it was a bit cold outside.
It's cold.
So we tried to do our hydroponics, and first year we did it, we had tomatoes, plants, and and now we're doing herbs, and we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And we still do it in the summer too, and because it rains down here and stuff. So and first year we did it, our tomato plants were like 6 feet tall. They were huge, and we kept having like all of our tomatoes growing, and we had like a tomato, like party where everything was made of tomatoes.
You had like a tomato takeover in your classroom. That's really neat. So hydroponics, you just grow the plants in water and not in soil?
Yes, we do
that
it
right?
with water, and it's a certain kind of water, and we had to do each day. Our job in third grade, each person would have a different day that they would do. They would put their certain type of water in it, they would refill it, stuff like that.
Wow. So it took a lot of kids to collaborate.
Yes.
That's great. And I know you guys, so you use gardening throughout your curriculum. So how do you work that into what else the kids are doing?
So at Coyote Springs, we embody the 21st century learning skills. And so the kids in the garden are using all of the 5 C's. They're communicating and collaborating, and they're critically thinking. Everything that they do in the habitat is problem solving and working together. And those skills can be used throughout all of the subjects in the classroom. And of course, in the habitat, it works really well. Last year, we had a beetle problem that they had to problem solve. We're constantly critically thinking about different food allergies and how to substitute, and then sugars and things like that. So we're using all of what they learn in habitat all throughout our curriculum.
Right, all those really important skills, and you guys are really learning to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And wow, that's so exciting. So look at this crust. That's beautiful. Fantastic. And looks like our pesto is good. So what do we do with the crust now? We have to bake it?
We
that
do.
right?
So once you get it to a thickness that you want, about a 1/4 inch, then you're going to put it in an oven for about 40 minutes and let the crust cook before you start adding any of the toppings to it.
Okay, and then it's ready to go. And
Yep.
we actually have a pizza in the oven,
We do.
which we made ahead of time, right? So let's pull that out and see what it looks like. There we go. Wow, look at this, you guys. That is just beautiful. Delicious. Yum. I just can't wait to taste that. Wow. Well, you know, thank you again, Miss Kay and Jordan and Jasmine and Cadence and Sydney. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us and sharing your stories and amazing pesto pizza. And I know folks will want to know more about your school garden and how to start a garden at their own school. So where can they go to learn more?
Well, the first thing is they could come tour the school.
Oh,
we
yeah.
always do garden tours. The kids lead it and they tell you all about the garden and everything that's going on. So come to Coyote Springs and take a tour. Or you can go on our Facebook page. We have a Coyote Springs Elementary School Facebook page, and it highlights what's going on in the habitat with the school garden and all of that. So
Yeah, and the tour is lovely. You guys were so kind to show me around this week, and got to see all the fun things that you're doing out there. And also to learn more about cooking with garden fresh herbs and produce, check out all of our videos and recipes at yrmchealthconnect.org. Just scroll down the page and click on the link to Your Healthy Kitchen. And you can also join us on Facebook. Join our page at Your Healthy Kitchen with Rita Carey Rubin, and you'll see what I'm making in my kitchen at home, get insider tips and recipes, and find great links to interesting news, websites, and videos about healthy food and cooking. And we all have something to say, don't we? You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Healthy food is good for you.
Awesome. We'll see you soon. Bye.